Welcome, the Northman Coaching Podcast with Gary and AJ. Thanks for tuning in. Building a better you, shoulder to shoulder, brick by brick. Let's go.
Good evening and welcome to the Northman Coaching Podcast. And I am bringing back my old co-host, Mr. Robert Burton, who's been part of the men's group and working in the background and helping me get this thing moving. But 2 years ago, Rob and I had a great conversation with one of our first podcasts, probably like episode, 10 maybe? Or 3 or 4? I don't
Give or
even know.
take. It was closer to 10 if they wanted to go.
And
I
it
don't
was on
recommend
the
go back and
value
listen.
of...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was on the value of commitment. And Rob and I went back and forth discussing what commitment meant to each of us, what it looked like, and all that good stuff. If you go back and check out that podcast, I don't know the title of it anymore. It's probably called something with commitment in it.
It is.
But it
Yep.
is actually, you can see a huge difference in where we both are right now compared to where we were then. And so we're going to revisit it. And Rob is here because he was with me. So we can see how we have both moved from where we were to where we are now. So Rob, introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Robert. I have been with Northman since the beginning, I would assume. Yeah.
Very beginning.
The very beginning. The Oak Value cards. If you don't know what those are, check them out. They're very cool. Took a lot of work, a lot of commitment to make those cards.
Mm.
It was
look at that.
It was a
Throwing the C word in
challenge.
there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to try to bring that word in a lot during this episode because I don't think we did a very good job of understanding what commitment was the first go round.
You bring in the word commitment or the word challenge in?
Commitment.
Okay, cool.
Because
Bring
we
it in
used
then.
it a lot on the first the first go round. But as I
Okay.
went back and listened to it, we were using it as if we had first heard it and we're trying to understand the word. And
Well,
as I
really-
listened to it, I was like, is that really what commitment was?
Mhm. It's what we thought commitment was, I believe. I believed wholeheartedly when we did that recording that was commitment. Looking back on it, I don't believe that anymore. I believe it was what I was taught was commitment. But what I have learned is different. So I want to start off with the biggest thing that we discussed the other day when we decided to do this is agreement versus commitment.
Yeah. That is something in the first podcast, I think we kind of merged them together because we were, I think even younger us would have said a commitment and an agreement were the same.
Sure.
And I was
Yeah.
like, is that, and I came to you and I'm going, I don't know that I agree that's the same anymore.
And it's not the same at all. So I'm going to
Yeah.
do the definition
ahead.
real quick. An
All right.
agreement is something that two people establish together. And a commitment is something that you decide that you are going to uphold. The key word is something that you decide that you are going to uphold. So if you make a commitment to me, that has nothing to do with me. Do you agree or disagree?
Then who does it have to deal with?
Just you. You're the only one that has control over you. Yes?
Yes.
So I can break my agreement.
You do this, I
Mhm.
do this. That's the agreement. We're going to stick together forever and ever. Amen. That's the agreement. But the commitment is your self saying that you're going to support the other person, not your
Mhm.
agreement to the person to support the other person. Shoot. I'm just crazy that one.
Not really. A little bit, but not really, because your commitment to support the other person So that we'll go, well, obviously we're going to talk about marriage, and I'm glad that he's touching on this because in the previous episode from 2 years ago, I was definitely in a victim mindset. I had blamed my ex-wife on several occasions for her breaking the commitment. I forget what your question was now. Crap.
Commitment versus agreement.
No, to support her.
Yes.
How do you support somebody? So we were taught growing up that to support a woman or your wife is to financially, have a job, clean the house, do the dishes, take care of the kid.
Biggest
But
word is be
really,
provider.
yes. But really, what you need to do to support her is to be you. Do not change who you are. And that's what I did. I became a nice guy. I became a pushover and I became disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not able to support her the way that she thought I could with a commitment, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But nevertheless, in the first episode 2 years ago, I really blamed her for all of it. And it wasn't lack of commitment, it was lack of agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions then, just because I feel like we're off to a rocky start almost. But
Well,
is commitment dependent? Go ahead. What do you got?
before you go, I actually went to
Yeah.
Tony Robinson's and he said
Tony Robbins.
commitment. Shoot, yeah. Tony
It's okay.
Robbins. And I was like, because he's had a bunch of commitment episodes. And I wanted like his one phrase. And the best one I found is commitment is doing what you say long after the feeling when you said it has passed.
I like that. What does that
And
mean
that's,
to you?
well, at first I was like, well, okay, that's weird. But it's like saying you're going to do something and then the next day you don't feel like doing it. Well, then the next day you don't feel like doing it. The next day you don't feel like doing it, but you're still going to do it. You're still going to build that habit because you still have that passion.
So then I
Go
want to
for
ask
it.
you what's the difference between this commitment and discipline? Because if you want to get away from the relationship, I was going to the gym every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I didn't feel like going.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go again the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I broke the commitment to myself. But is commitment and discipline the same thing?
Well,
Because discipline is doing the things you don't want to do when they have to be done.
when they have to be done. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Robinson says one way to build a commitment is having discipline because you're going
Look
to
at that.
have
There
to
it is.
do stuff you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And having that commitment,
See?
part of it is building discipline so that when you stop loving it, you still go long after it's done until it changes your identity from I have to go to the gym to I am a gym person.
Member.
Yeah.
A gym goer.
Gym
A
goer.
gym rat.
Yep.
Okay. So back to the marriage thing. So if I am married and I said I'm committing to showing up every day, even when I don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
at what point does that become not in love anymore? Where it's a chore and it sucks.
Mm. That's where you build habit and discipline so that when it gets to that point, you can fall back. What is the saying? You fall back to your highest level of training.
Unfortunately, when my first marriage my highest level of training was pretty low.
Yeah. Mine was too. And mine was too. And
So,
so I mimicked bad behavior.
So we actually discussed this a little earlier today, and I just thought of this now. So what would happen if I made this commitment and both her and I were on this path to grow together? I feel like that sense of work wouldn't really be there. It would be a pleasure to show up every day because we're both showing up, learning and growing together.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on
So
that?
so you're creating this sense of love so that you
Hmm.
have a purpose for your discipline. And then you build
Yeah.
this
Okay.
discipline so that when you get to a point where you stop this journey becomes hard. I'm not going to say unbearable,
Hmm.
but maybe it becomes hard. Maybe you do need a break. It doesn't ruin your identity as a person who's on a journey.
Mm. Okay.
You're just taking a pause until you can get through that difficult time.
So when you say pause, what does that mean? Like a separation? Like you're
It
moving
it
out
may
for a little
be
while? What does
that
that
you
mean?
it well, it may mean that you have to go and take a week's vacation in the woods to get to
Mhm.
enjoy your passion that you
Find
got to
you
on this
again.
journey. Yes, find the
Yeah.
journey again.
Okay. Interesting. I like that a lot. Hmm. So I'm going to scrap those questions I just had for you because we kind of went through them in a better way. So then, based on this, what we're talking about now with the whole go find yourself and come back, and assuming that we're on this path of growth where we're growing together and both working on ourselves along with each other. One of the biggest challenges I think is, and this is my biggest challenge that I had was commitment doesn't mean never walk away. And that is what really
Mm,
put me into that victim mindset was because she walked away.
yes.
She broke the commitment. She ended the marriage. It had nothing to do with me because she walked away. So that was my biggest challenge. Of course, anybody that knows me, you know me as well, like looking back, her leaving was the best thing that ever happened because it forced me to become who I am today. And I've helped so many people because of that. So, but I always felt like you make that commitment, you cannot walk away. If I'm standing there on the shoreline and the waves are getting bigger and bigger, and I said I'm going to stand right here on the shoreline, I'm not going to move. I'm making commitment to standing right here, and these waves are getting bigger and bigger. I'm either going to have to move and walk away, or get hurt, or die, or drown, or whatever.
Hmm.
So there comes a point where it's okay to walk away.
Yes. I actually have to agree with you
Why do you say unfortunately?
because I've been in your situation. I've had my ex walked out on me, and
Hmm.
it broke me, like broke me to the core.
Yeah, I was broken as well. But if you think about it, if we were those waves that were once calm and manageable when they committed to standing on that shoreline till death do them part, and then we became these monstrous, disastrous, unorganized waves that
Yes,
were causing destruction in our path, the only choice they had was to
walk away
succumb to what we were bringing or walk away.
to survive. Yes.
And they chose to do what was best for them. And that is what the commitment comes down to. You can only control yourself. You have to do what's best for you. So,
It
yeah.
touches into something that you told me a week ago where the doctor has a saying, post traumatic growth.
Yes.
I
Okay.
love that. And
Mm,
it's almost in order for you to go through a trauma and to grow, you have to almost have a commitment to yourself that's not just
mhm.
based on I mean, yeah, it can start out as an emotion, but there has to be something that pushes you, that inspires you to say, hey, I want to do something different in my life. And it pushes you further and further until you suddenly realize that you're stepping as a different person.
Yes. So it's funny that you say that because like my whole question thing is going to be scrapped pretty much because so I had this conversation tonight actually with this woman who we actually discussed post traumatic stress and post traumatic growth. And so she was like, everybody has got trauma, whether it's something your mom or dad did to you as a child, whether it's something that happened going to school, if you were in the military, if you had an accident, whatever it is, we all have trauma. But what we do not have is unresolved trauma. We have unspoken trauma, but if you have unresolved trauma, that's on you to resolve that. And I look at what you and I have done, and I think the biggest trauma in my life is probably the same as the biggest trauma in your life, which would be divorce. And by starting what we've started here, where we talk to each other about this, we talk to other men, we help other people, like we help people as much as they help us. And to get through a trauma, you have to find people that went through the same trauma and start talking. Yes, no thoughts, maybe something.
But to start talking to people, do you not have to start with a commitment? You start looking
To
for
yourself.
a solution instead of an excuse.
To yourself.
Yeah.
You need well, okay, so a solution instead of an excuse. So just to throw it out there, like so when I met you for the first time in Nashville, I got that sense of calmness. And then I think that's when I made that commitment to myself that I was going to open up.
Mm.
Because I still don't open up to a lot of the people that were whether it was the Asheville group or the Idaho group. Some of them I don't feel like that I don't feel that comfort level where I can open up to them. But
Hmm.
there is a group, actually, all of the men in the Northman Coaching Brotherhood, I can open up to every single one of them. So when you find the right group or even the right one person, you make that commitment to yourself. So now I've met you and I feel like I can trust you and talk to you. Now I have a choice. I can open up and talk to you and deal with this trauma, and you can do the same to me and deal with your trauma, or I can choose to shut it down, be quiet, and suffer. So I choose commitment to myself.
I think Tony Robinson said something in his podcast is the why you must do it. Why are you making that commitment to open up? Why are you making that commitment to change?
So I would say that my why to making that change was to grow. I did not want
Mm.
to be stuck where I was. How about you?
No, mine's the same. But then
Okay.
as I started to grow, guess what happened? And as we started making this brotherhood, my standards changed. And they
And I can
keep
see that.
changing and constantly changing. And that's why that episode number 10, whatever it was, is not exactly who we were anymore because our standards are constantly rising because of the brotherhood, because of our decision to grow instead of sit in the trauma.
Mhm. And, growing is a lifelong journey. I think that at any point in time, if we do this podcast again in 2 more years, I hope that it is completely different from this episode because if I am the same person I am now in 2 years, that will be upsetting. So, I think that no matter what, you're gonna look back and see that growth. If you don't, it's time to look in the mirror and figure out what's going on there. So, when you said Tony Robbins said it's that feeling that tell me what he said again about the feeling with commitment?
You know your why?
No, it was one of the first things you said.
When they feel inspired?
I don't know. You said something about doing that. You made the commitment because you have that feeling, and now that you've made the commitment, you have to keep moving, even though
Yes.
the feeling's not there
Commitment
anymore.
Commitment is doing what you say you would do long after the feeling you said has passed.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
would you say that feeling would be motivation?
No, to me, it was one phrase a guy said in the men's group, and it was,
Hmm.
"Your behavior is your legacy." And I
Okay.
use that every day of my life. And I sit there and say, how can I be a better person tomorrow? How can I
Hmm.
build a better relationship with somebody? How can I be a better listener? How can I be a better brother to you? How can I be a better husband to the new wife? And I've taken it to my heart that I am going to leave a legacy of my behavior. And I decided, even if I don't feel like it in one day, it's one day. But the next day, I'm going to get back on the horse and I'm going to be the best Robert I can be.
And that's not motivation. Hmm. So to me, that sounds
Yeah,
like motivation.
I don't, yeah, I guess it is. I don't know what, because
And
I
I only say it
guess,
because, like, so I
go
have
ahead.
discussed in the men's group how I used to go to the gym all the time. I did all my breath work and all that stuff. And since my mother's passing, I don't have the desire to record any more podcasts. I don't have a desire to go to the gym. And I feel like I've just been very empty. But things are slowly but surely coming back. I am recording again. I am doing push ups. I'm stretching. I'm going to get to the gym next week. I keep pushing it, but whatever. But it's coming back. So I feel like that commitment that I'm going to make and am making, the motivation has slipped a little bit and it's slowly but surely coming back.
Mm.
I don't know. That's what I got.
But I think commitment is going to have times when you don't feel like being committed. It's the
Absolutely.
question,
And
are
that's the
you
motivation's
going
not there.
to define yourself as that person, even though the motivation is gone?
Right. And that's where your standards come in.
Mm. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah. Do you
So,
still consider
so yeah,
yourself a gymmer? What's a person that goes to the gym?
a gym rat. So I still go to the gym. I haven't been there. I did go once last week, but I'm still doing my push ups. I'm still stretching. So I'm still a person who is in shape. How's that?
Mhm.
And I will be back at the gym next week. So yes, I'm still a gym person, a gym goer. All right. So have you ever had to continue something when it was not what you wanted to do?
Yes, there's a lot of things that you don't want to do, but it's kinda like it's forced on you to do it, and then you realize you do it, and you're like, I get it now." One
Mhm.
of them is building relationships with other people. I am a little bit
Okay.
more of an introvert, and so I don't like talking to people. I'm not very emotional person, so I don't go around caring how you feel, more or less.
Okay.
But I can't remember how I got challenged to do it. But as I'm challenged to do it, I
Mhm.
realize that I'm building relationships with other people. And the more I do it, the more it inspires me to do it just a little bit more. And then I was like, so this is what it is. So building relationship is now become one of those commitments that I'm doing with myself. I don't always want to do it, but I need to do it.
Hmm. This could be a whole another podcast right here. But so if you are now doing this, making these relationships, and it's not really that bad, why did you call yourself an introvert?
Exactly. No,
Why
I
do you
mean,
give yourself that label when it seems like that's not accurate?
well, I live that label because I was
Hmm.
told that's what an
Mm,
introvert
yes.
does.
Introvert. Yes. And it's
Introvert.
funny 'cause I'm going to go back to the PTG and the PTSD because you stick a label on it and your head, your brain says, okay, this is who you are. Let's live this life. So if I tell myself I'm an introvert, then I'm going to stop talking to people. If I tell
Mhm.
myself that I have trauma that is causing stress, then every time I think of whatever that trauma was, I'm going to get stressed out. If I call myself an extrovert or just a normal human being who talks to people sometimes, and when he's tired, he does not, then when I'm not tired, I will talk. And when I am, I will not. And when my trauma comes up from whatever, I will use that as a trampoline into growth.
Yeah.
You put labels on it and it restricts you.
Or it can propel you if you put the right label on it, an inspiring
Yes.
label like
Or don't
benevolence.
put a label on it. Just leave it
Yeah.
alone. So,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
okay. Interesting. That was actually, I like that little segment. We could do a whole segment on that. We really could. So, can you be committed to something and still be inconsistent?
Yes. I do that a
Explain.
lot. Explain.
Explain, man. Explain.
Just like you say that you're committed to going to the gym, I'm committed to
Yes.
losing weight, but I am very
Okay.
inconsistent about it. Some days I will think about it and it will worry me to death. And then some days
Hmm.
it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that I have worried about it in the past. But I've grown to the person where I I love the feeling of losing weight and I want to get there, but I'm not loving me worrying about it. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Did that
it
answer
does.
your
So,
question?
and I asked you that question because a lot of people think that, if I, like me, if I miss the gym, I am not committed to the gym. If you ate badly, and I know we've had discussions where you were like, I'm losing weight as you roll through the fried chicken joint. It's only one piece. So
Yeah.
that tells me that you're not committed. If you have a bad week and you say, I'm failing.
Yes.
But in reality, commitment is it's not never falling off. It's how fast you return back to where you were going. Even in a marriage, you commit to being this human being, this man, whatever. You fall off. You do have a bad day. You get fired from your job. Something goes sideways. And if you haven't done this work, then you might not respond the way that you should or could have. And things go sideways. But you have to get back on the horse.
You talking about the mind shift that especially in a marriage and this was one of the topics that Tony Robinson I think brought up was the mind shift in a relationship. It was like in a marriage, at first I was like, are we a good match? Are we a good match? And I was so worried about like, are we a good match? Is this to with my current wife, it's the thought process is how do I build a better life together or a
And that's that growth
wonderful
path.
life together? Yeah. It isn't about are we matching because it's not about matching. It's about enjoying the
Hmm.
journey as we go in this beautiful life together.
I mean, you have to be somewhat compatible. You do
Yeah.
not have to. In fact, you don't really want to match.
Yeah. Because
If you
then
think about it, if you were
you're
the same
living with
person,
a
that'd be
roommate,
terrible.
like I told you many times. It's a roommate if
Hmm.
it's a match.
So looking back on it, if you knew about this mindset shift where instead of matching, and so is your ex-wife, what would there have been a chance that that could have grown into something incredible?
Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't
And it's funny because I
have
think the same
the
thing. Like,
commitment. Yeah.
you didn't have that mindset either. You had no
Yeah.
idea that it was. We've discussed this so many times. It was not about that journey together. It was about getting married, getting the house, making the baby, and retiring and dying. Checking all of the boxes as quick as you could. Let's go. And both of us, I think we tied. We got like 4 of the 5 boxes checked.
Yeah. But there was no point in life where it was like a commitment isn't about
Mhm.
checking a box almost. It's just about living your life to a standard that keeps growing.
No, that's the commitment to yourself.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
yourself.
Yep. That's the only commitment that you can truly make. So Can you call something a commitment if it has never cost you anything? Like everything comes at a cost, right? So can you commit without actually having it cost you something, whether that's time, money, comfort?
Where it's free, I don't think so. Not where it being makes it worth it. It's going to cost you comfortability, or
Mhm,
it might cost you time, effort,
mhm,
patience, learning, frustration, outside your comfort zone. Yeah. So no,
mhm.
I don't think you're gonna have to pay something. So
Yes. So, and I agree 100%. And we've discussed that, everything that's worth something has to cost something. Might not be money, but it might be your comfort, or it might be opportunities, or it can even just be a night of sleep. You toss it and turn it, your convenience or whatever. Everything that's worth something costs something. Unless you live in a socialist economy, then it's all free. Sorry, didn't want to go there. I
yeah,
did want to go, but whatever. What commitment has cost you the most, would you say?
commitment has cost you. Working to be a better me, working to be the benevolent person that I want to be, working to living the legacy of my behavior.
And was the cost worth it?
So far, yeah, it's not done. It won't be done until way after I'm dead. So,
That's what I like to hear. Very good.
what about you? What was your cost?
Well, I think that's the commitment. I would say I hate to copy you, but the commitment that I made to myself, because this is like the biggest commitment that I've ever made, is to continue to be a better man every day. Whether that's whatever it is, I strive to be 1% better every day. Does it happen every day? Absolutely not. It does for the most part, but there are days, like my recent history, that I've had days that have knocked me down quite a few pegs, but I get back up. And it has cost me time. It has cost me convenience. It has cost me sleep. But getting back on that horse and becoming what?
Time with your daughter.
Yes, I'm my daughter. But getting back on that horse and becoming the man that I was working on and being better every single day, it is worth it 100%.
How about building a community of accountability brotherhood? Do you not say
Yeah.
that?
I mean, that would that be a commitment that I made? Yes, it would be. It's not the biggest commitment I've made. I mean, I think the biggest commitment is to myself, but that's part of that brotherhood of accountable men. I mean, I look at that group, and I look at that whole group, and I'm as proud of them as I am of my daughter. Like, it's something that well, let me go take a step back, because my daughter, I have had such a hand in raising her that I can look at her and truly be proud. And I look at this men's group, and I am truly proud. I have built something incredible. But without you, without Joel, without AJ, without half the other guys in that group, it wouldn't be what it is. So, yeah, I built it, absolutely. But that's like saying I built a house and I didn't have any tools, you know? I didn't have anybody working with me. So, as a team, we have built that into something beautiful. So, on that note, if you guys are interested in what Rob and I are talking about with this brotherhood, Northman Coaching has a brotherhood. It's called Northman Brotherhood. It is on the school platform. If you go to northmancoaching.com and click join the brotherhood, it will take you to the link. We have meetings 4 times a week. On Monday, we have our perspective meeting where we set our intentions and we set our mindsets to the right direction. On Wednesdays, we have our bridge meeting, which we discuss where we are from where we said we were going to be on Monday. And then Thursday, we have a deep dive motivated men's group where we have usually an icebreaker question that one of the members will come up with. And we will talk about all of our wins, all of our struggles, all of our good moments, bad moments, and everything in between. And then Friday, we have our RAG meeting, what we're grateful for. And yeah, I'll think of the R when we're done recording. But nevertheless, all those check-in meetings are roughly 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm telling you, the brotherhood, the band of brothers in that group, man, there's nothing we wouldn't do for each other. So check that out if you're interested. First 7 days are free. After that, it's $10 a month. So check that out. Anything on the brotherhood you want to share?
Yes.
No? Maybe?
I would like
Go.
all the
Let's hear it.
listeners out there, if
Or the watchers. We're
or the
watching.
watchers, yes, that's right.
We're gonna be on TV.
When life gets difficult, what helps you remain committed to what matters most? You can go into the school platform and tell us your answers. Comment below. I don't know that comment below would help, because if you want cool, like honest people to help walk you through this, log into the school platform and see. It's free for 7 days. Just log in, check it out, see what happens. You don't have to commit, but check it out.
I like that word. Check it out.
Check it out.
Yep. Speaking of commit and the 7 days, so what are people actually committed to? Because, so in the group, people talk about getting healthy. They want to repair their marriage. They want to get closer to God. They want to get closer to their children. They want to build a business or write a book. They want to change their lives for the better. And you have all of these wants. This is what I want to commit to. And part of what we do is we hold men accountable to their wants, and that changes their behavior. And some of the guys, the behavior doesn't change. So it's still a want. I want to build a business. I want to get healthy, but I want to eat 14 double cheeseburgers. I want to work on my marriage, but I still want to have a girlfriend on the side. Like, so that their behavior is not there yet. But with the brotherhood, we don't judge, but we will call you out. And that will change your behavior, or it'll change what you want to be committed to. Something's going to give. So
Yes.
check us out. Northman Brotherhood.
Commit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rob, if somebody followed you around for 7 days without asking you a single question, what would they conclude that you are committed to?
It depends on what 7 days.
The next 7 days.
The next
No,
7
the
days?
last 7 days. So the last 7 days, you can't change anything.
Well, I was not a great person at work today, so I can't say that it would have been a good day. I was not. I take it back. They would definitely see a person who values what he does, and I definitely I definitely work hard to serve other people and help other people. And they would see it through my actions, my words. I may grumble here and there. I'm not going to lie to you. And I do falter some. I had 7 days ago. Within 7 days ago, I did have fried chicken. So I did falter. But I am committed to becoming a better father to my daughter. I'm newly married, so definitely they would see that I'm committed to the wife, the faith, to this brotherhood, because I'm in most of the meetings most of the week. So
Okay.
how about you?
And I think those are the two biggest things. Becoming a better father and a better husband are the two biggest commitments that you could possibly make. Because I think everything else falls into line after that. It's like once you own yourself and what you're doing, everything else kind of falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got some rapid fire questions, and then we're going to close it all off here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So rapid fire means it's going to be quick. So we've got to put on the thinking cap, tighten it up.
Get
All
me a
right.
duck.
Commitment or convenience?
I would choose
Which
convenience.
would you choose?
Because commitments are harder.
So you take the
Convenience
easy way
is
out.
just like I open the refrigerator and there's a bucket of ice cream. I'm taking that convenience.
Wow. Okay. Which is harder, starting or staying consistent?
Staying consistent. I can't tell you how many times I had to redo 75 hard. That pissed me off.
Mm.
I had to redo it so many times.
All right. Is quitting always a lack of commitment?
Quitting, commitment. No, because you can quit, but it's getting back up on that horse again.
Yes, sir. Okay. What matters more, discipline or motivation?
Discipline. If you want to be
Yes,
a
sir.
committed person, discipline. Training yourself to work through that motivation. What do you think,
So what's
brother?
the answer? Discipline or motivation?
Through the
All right.
motivation.
So two more
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. Sorry.
Two more questions. Can commitment exist without sacrifice?
No. I think we just answered that one.
Okay. We did. And can commitment become unhealthy?
Yes. Yes. If you're committed and it's for the wrong reason. There's a lot of times that it's like, I'm committed, but are you committed because somebody else tells you to be committed? That's for the wrong reason.
Very good.
Have you ever been committed for the wrong reason?
I have absolutely been committed for the wrong reason. One of the biggest things is before this work, I would commit myself to doing things for other people. I would get in shape so that I would look better for other people. I would wear different clothes so I could look better for other people. That's all I can think of, really. So, yeah. Anyway, before I do my last little closing part, if you guys are looking for another great podcast to check out Sessions and Lessons. And that's with the two hosts would be Joel and Glo Rosario. They are two good friends of ours, and their podcast it's really incredible. It's 80s, 90s. It's self help. It's banter. It's how would you describe it, Rob?
Didn't you say it was a radio talk show host style?
I think it's like a radio talk show, but I'm asking you what you think it is.
I don't know. I haven't listened to all their episodes, but usually they're pretty
Okay.
funny. They're a little
Yes.
bit it is like a radio show. Like a old
Eh,
school radio show where they just get on there
like the
and
morning.
just
Yeah. Shoot the shit. The morning zoo.
shoot the shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before
Okay.
school started,
And
they
then so
turn on the radio and just listen to it. Yeah.
yep. That's all it is. So, but then they drop episodes every single Monday. Every single Sunday and Wednesday. So check them out. And then on Friday, Glow has her own podcast, and that is called Glowing Off Script. And I was recently told that I described her podcast incorrectly. So I'm just going to tell you to go check our podcast out. It drops every Friday. That I know is correct. And she is definitely the host, Glow Rosario. It's called Glowing Off Script. Check it out and tell me what you think it's about. Yeah.
Mm.
And last but not least, Joel has a book out. It is called May December End, The Ballad of Joey Flowers. And it is a great book that he wrote last year. I absolutely loved it. And it was just his journal to get through hard times that he has decided to turn into a book to share with everybody out there in the world. So check out his
That
book. It is on Amazon, Amazon Kindle. It's at a bookstore in Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, called Studio Moonfall. So check that out.
that is one commitment that I had to start was journaling.
What's that?
Journaling.
Yes.
That will help
You
get
still
you.
do it every day?
I don't do it every day, but when I was hurting and I was going through some hard times, that commitment
Mhm.
of writing it and getting it out of your head really, really
Yes.
helped.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So I'm going to wrap this up with so commitment isn't proven when it's easy. It's proven when you are tired, when you're disappointed, when nobody's watching, when the excitement is gone. So you are definitely going to stumble, but you have to pick yourself up and get back on the horse. That's what the commitment's about. You're going to fall down, you're going to fail, but failure is not failure unless you give up. So get back on the horse, guys. Tune in to our podcast every single Sunday evening and check out the daily devotionals and the 7 deadly sins every single morning, guys. Other than that, Rob, I want to say thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll have to bring you back on again in the future. And that's it. All right. You have a wonderful evening, sir.
All
And
righty.
yeah, don't leave yet. I'm just going to hit stop and we'll talk.
Okay. All right.
All right. Have a good night, guys.